Hey, what's up, everybody? And this isn't the greatest lighting situation. Let's see if we can do that, and that's not that great. What if I go, well, that's beautiful. Let's see how I can situate this. That was a little bit better. Oh, there's my Pedro's tacos. Look at that. I guess I'll do it. I don't know. This is just the hotel rooms always put it, they don't situate things the best for live streaming. Yeah. All right, we'll go here. I'm in a hotel room in San Diego, California. It is Wednesday, July 17th. I'm down here for the San Diego Comic-Con. What's up, Jesus? Anthony Ray, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Aileen Walker, Backyard Politics. What's up? Meg 2005. Where's the Harry Carey person? Hi, I love my area. Sam Dean, what's up? Yeah, Bob Swanick, good to see you. San Diego is like a 2-3 hour drive from my house. Fred Edwards, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Am I going to Politicon? Boy, that I don't know. I'd like to go to Politicon. Thank you, Jack. I'm glad you liked the show in Chicago. I should have brought my surfboard. No, I'm going to be surfing down here. I'm going to meet up with a buddy on Friday, and we're going to surf for sure. I don't come to San Diego and not surf. That's just a crime. That is a crime against society. This lighting is so bad. Sitting at that angle though sucks. I'm gonna change some things around here. There we go. Well, now that's too dark. There. Ugh, it's this horrible yellow lighting. I'm sorry. I keep switching this around. We'll go back to what it was doing. There. I'm going crazy. I'm literally going nuts. So we'll put that there. I'm glad you liked the show in Chicago. This watch, yes, it's a Hulk watch. I got it from a friend. It's really cool. When are Jimmy and I coming to Victoria, British Columbia? I don't know. Ron Placone and I are trying to plan shows in the Pacific Northwest, where we would go to Vancouver. I don't know about Victoria. Yeah, I don't know. We're trying. From South Chicago, right on. Kinky's here. Yeah, Ron and I are looking to do like Portland, Seattle, and Vancouver. That's sort of our goal. Do I think identity politics is harmful in pushing people to the right? Absolutely. Identity politics is a very effective tool. I wouldn't be surprised if it was cooked up somewhere to keep the left, mainly the left, divided and keep the left off, keep the left distracted. Because look at when CNN polls people or whatever like that, it's always like, well, I like Kamala because she's a black woman, and I like Liz. We need a woman in there, and it's like, I'd love to see a woman. I'd love to see a person of color. I'd love to see a woman of color. But they're not like Nina Turner. I love her policies, And if they're so dead set on like a woman of color, why aren't they all rallying around Tulsi? So like they just the identity politics totally pushes it divides the left and pushes people to the right, and it gives the right all this justification. The right, because you can pick apart so much hypocrisy with identity politics, so quickly. I mean, just the fact, like, look, I didn't vote for Hillary, so I must be a sexist. But then when I voted for Jill Stein, a female doctor, a Harvard-educated female doctor, I'm a Russian. So, Yeah, that's all it does is divide everybody. Yeah. What's up, Rick Gangi? The squad thing is such bullshit. Even Omar believes the Russia gate. Yeah, it's just crazy, man. It's just crazy. Hey, Carrie. I'm sorry things are going hard for you. Show Carrie some love. I'm really sorry. That's a bummer. The Epstein bail hearing is tomorrow. So, first of all, that video got demonetized. My video about Jeffrey Epstein and Chuck Schumer got demonetized. It's my most watched video of the last like 2-3 weeks. Demonetized. I just posted 2 videos. One about the UAE tanker and the false flag, immediately demonetized. And I've sent a request. They're going to manually review it, but the video has already gotten almost 1,000 views. It's almost gotten 1,000 views, and it can't make any money off of the ads. A video that I'm uploading that's going to drop tomorrow about a polar ice, the Thwaites Glacier. I know I'm not pronouncing that correctly. Thwaites Glacier. It's the size of Florida, is like unstable. I'm putting that. It's a scheduled post. It's going to drop tomorrow, and it got demonetized. So it's like it's insane, you know. And it really bums me out so much because they and what happens when I request the manual review, 95% of them, they say, oh, now after a manual review, it does qualify. So, but the first 1,000 or so views, there's no ads playing. So it's like, and then if a video takes off, like the Jeffrey Epstein, Chuck Schumer video did, it's gotten 15,000 or 20,000 views. None of those people saw ads. None of them. It's insane. So, which is one of the reasons why, well, first of all, why I'm doing more live streams. First of all, I like just talking and I like answering your questions, but I get 100% of the transactional revenue, which is this. They charge you guys an extra fee. That's how they make their money. But I get all this money. So when you guys, like what Bob Swanek just did, shaving his knuckles for justice, giving me $5, I get that whole $5. And figured out a way to fuck me out of this money. And it's also why I've been putting all my videos up on Rockfin. Some of them are premium videos. Some of them are regular. But if you do the $10 a month subscription to Rockfin, then you get everything ad-free. Everything on Rockfin is ad-free. So, and it's blockchain and it's cryptocurrency. Ugh, I'm just so sick of this fucking corporate bullshit. It just drives me nuts. All right, let me just prop that up a little better. All right, Bob Swanek, heading to Ireland Friday. Feels good to get out of the USA for a week. A little something to keep the show going. Thanks for everything you do. Bob, really appreciate it. Have fun in Ireland. I've never been there. It's crazy. It's crazy. My grandfather's from there. My grandmother's from there. Like, you know, my great-grandmother, I think my grandmother was born here. My grandfather was born over there, but he came over here when he was like a little boy, like 3 or 4, something like that. My great-grandmother was, as they say, she was the first, it would make her first generation, but she told my mom when my mom was a little girl that Irish and Italian blood doesn't mix. So that sounds so crazy now. And that's, I always think about that when people talk about racism and we don't need these, immigrants coming here. And I'm just like, oh God, I remember the Irish, the stories about the Irish being treated like shit. I mean, all of it. Like it just shows how ridiculous racism is. But thanks for supporting the show, Bob. I really appreciate it. Donald Cunningham, Shave the Knuckles for Justice. Thank you for supporting the show. First saw you on Jimmy Dore. Love your work. Shave your Knuckles for Justice. Yeah, the Jimmy Dore show in Chicago. That's the second time now we've done Thalia Hall, 600 seats. It is so cool. You know, I've done 600 seat theaters. I think my biggest show I've ever done in front of was maybe 2,000 or 3,000 people. And it's awesome. But it's something else being the Jimmy Dore show. When he introduced me as the political vigilante, I came out and not the whole, but a large portion of the audience gave me a standing ovation. That was so cool. And, you know, the stuff we're talking about and the heavy anti-war message, it's so cool, man. And it's so cool to see the city, my hometown, like represent like that. It was really, really, really awesome. So I'm thank you guys for watching and supporting the show. I really appreciate it. Matt, I'd Shave the Knuckles for Justice. 58 people watching, 24 likes. Hit the like button, you guys. Can't wait to see you and Ron in Minneapolis. Yes, so that progressive comedy tour is locked in stone now. September 4th, we're going to Omaha, Nebraska. September 5th, we're going to Sioux Falls, South Dakota. September 6th, Madison, Wisconsin. September 7th, Minneapolis, where we're going to see Matt Ide. September 7th, we're going to see Abe Mayers in Iowa City, Iowa. And maybe Snork White 2K might come out for that show too. So all those are available at grahamelwood.com. And the progressive comedy tour shows, if you haven't been to them, they're so great. Ron and I each do 45-minute sets. And we get some local acts to do stuff. And we get, you know, we always reach out to the DSA or the Green Party or Movement for a People's Party, Veterans for Peace. So if you know any of those or work for any of those organizations in any of the cities I just mentioned, have them reach out to me at info@grahamelwood.com, because what we always do is we always give each of those organizations a couple of free tickets and we let them set up a table. So afterwards, during the meet and greet, it's not just like photos and autographs and selling merch, which is cool and fun, and I love doing that, but there's also, we want people to get involved. So like DSA and Movement and Green Party are signing people up, getting people involved locally. I talk about how important that is to get involved locally. I'll give you a great example. So in the ward where Thalia Hall is, so Chicago is divided into wards, and they have aldermen, and the aldermen from all of the, I don't know, 50 or 60 wards there are in Chicago make up the city council. So that ward was run by somebody that was giving it over to developers, and it's a Latino neighborhood. Thalia Hall's in the Pilsen neighborhood, and they was letting developers come in there and gentrify the neighborhoods. All this really rich Latino neighborhood, amazing food. It's a really cool working class neighborhood. So someone who was endorsed by the DSA that works for Movement for a People's Party, this guy, God, I'm blanking on his name, but Ray Foley told me about it. Anyway, he got elected. He won in the spring. So a real progressive is on the Chicago City Council, and that happened because people in that neighborhood needed a big campaign, and it was really, his name is Barry, I believe, and he's Latino, and he is a real, and that neighborhood, that ward now has an alderman that is actually representing the people, not the developers that are trying to gentrify that neighborhood. So that's why I say how important it is to get involved on a local level. Imagine if Chicago, the third largest city in America's city council, becomes mostly progressives. See what that can do? So come out to the show. Balthazar 228, shave your knuckles for justice, brother. I'm ready for the Justice Democrats to realize Nancy Pelosi isn't on their side when she unironically defends the need for a border net to stop undocumented merfolk immigration into Atlantis in 2029. Yeah, the Justice Democrats, I liked their idea initially, but then when they were became the sex police, and I look at some of their endorsements and I'm like, well, that's cool, but they still have 1 foot in neoliberalism over there. And look, we talked about it. I've talked about it on this show. Jimmy's talked about it. He's done clips showing how Nancy Pelosi just caved to Trump's border wall. She keeps caving to Trump time and time again. And then she'll just give some, we're going to fight this battle against Trump. What? You just caved to him. What are you talking about? And then when AOC and Omar and I forget the names of the other two women are like vehemently, publicly on Twitter saying this is not right, Pelosi goes after him. So it's like, I can't, I got so little respect for Pelosi. Big Baby Zubas, Shave the Knuckles for Justice. Thanks for supporting the show, my friend. Hey, dude, that t-shirt wears like a glove. Thanks for the one great stand-up. Be safe out there. Oh, I'm glad you liked the shirt, brother. Thank you so much for coming to the shows. That was the other thing. So the Thalia Hall show was obviously great. It's a 600-seat theater. And, you know, we're doing live Jimmy Dore, so there's the clips, and it's Steph and I and Jimmy, and it's so fun. And then Sunday night at Zany's, which is this club that is 40 years old, and there's old headshots on the wall of Jimmy and I. It's so cool. You know, we did stand-up sets. So like Steph emceed it. I did a 30-minute set. Jimmy did 45. It was so great. So thank you for coming to those shows and everybody that came. Some people came to both. Some people just came, you know, to the stand-up. You know, it's so great. However you guys come out to the shows, and it's fun to laugh as progressives, because when you start paying attention, it can bum you out. Believe me, I know firsthand. So coming to those shows is very therapeutic. Is for me too. For us on stage, it's therapeutic, and for all of you. So I'm so glad when you guys come and enjoy the show. Thanks. Rick Gangi, what's up? Here's a few bucks for Russia. So would you suggest ditching Patreon for Rockfin? I'm going to keep using Patreon. I like Patreon. I like its platform. I like the tiers and all that stuff. If you are like, Graham, I only have $10 a month to spend on you. If you're asking me what I think you should choose, I mean, I would say give Rockfin a go. Rockfin's a new platform. It's a startup, you know, so it could go out of business. A lot of startups do, but if more people sign up for it, it could really flourish into this thing. And if it does, it's a great backup plan if YouTube ever deplatforms me, because Rockfin is blockchain and it is cryptocurrency. So when you sign up, or what they call endorse, it's like liking a video, but when you endorse a video of mine on Rockfin or sign up through rockfin.com/Graham Elwood, then I get residual income. So yeah, if you're saying you have to choose one or the other, then try Rockfin. And if Rockfin doesn't work out or you don't like it, you can always stop your monthly subscription at Rockfin and go back to Patreon. But yeah, jump over to Rockfin, give it a shot. I like it. And I've met the guys that run the company. They're really cool. And I've, you know, they're out of Austin. So when Ron and I were in Austin, we met up with them. And when we were there, I think for the Jimmy Dore show, I can't remember. But anyway, yeah, Ron and I met with them when we were there. So they're really cool guys. I like their business model. I like their platform. The content creators own the channel. A big company like Google can't buy it out. So yeah, give it a shot. 87 watching. 44 likes. This is my lightsaber water bottle. Very fitting for Comic-Con. Whoops. I missed one. That one jumped. It jumped on me. I don't want to miss these other ones. All Day Media. What's up? Thanks for supporting the show. Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. You, Dore, and the right media. Only, never supers. You, Dore, and the right media only, never supers. Okay. I think that means, I'm not sure what that means, but thank you for supporting the show. I'm not sure what that means, but thank you. And this brings up a point too. If you are a YouTube Red subscriber, you get one, I think, $2 super chat per month. That's like doesn't cost you extra. So something to throw in there. Sam Dean, moo! Sam Dean, we're locking down dates, dude. Looks like November 14th in Melbourne, November 15th in Adelaide, November 17th, we're looking at doing a matinee show at this cool little 100-seat theater in Sydney, a Sunday matinee. We're going to give it a try. I don't have ticket links yet for any of these shows. As soon as I do, believe me, they will go on my website. And then we're looking to lock in Perth and maybe even go up to Brisbane. So, Sam, I hope you can make one of those shows down under. Leonardo DiCaprio and Gangs of New York, natives in the 5 points. Absolutely. Did I hear about Mike Gravel not making the debates despite raising enough money from individual donors? He didn't qualify because he didn't rank high enough on polls. He was left off. Oh, God, I did not hear that. But, man, they will do anything to keep that guy off stage. They can't have him calling out all these people. They can't do it. Ugh, I did not hear about that. That's infuriating. That is infuriating. Yeah. Yeah, Gravel needs to be there. Balthazar 228, shave your knuckles for justice. Just seems like they were elected to take over a party that clearly has no intention of changing and then played ball with the party that detests them. Yeah. And look, AOC made this great point when Pelosi caved to Trump's border wall. Ocasio-Cortez went on Twitter and said, what's the point of having a majority of we control Congress. We need to block it. Congress needs to be obstructionist. We need to say no. We need to say no. That's what we need to do. But Pelosi just caves at every turn. She caves at every turn. I have no faith in the Democratic Party. What's up, Utah? New York's NYC native. I know I don't have any progressive comics in Central Texas. I'm not any political jazz and anarchist baby. I don't quite know what that means. What's up, Cannon Fodder? Glad you could make it. Yeah. Pelosi's a master legislator. Just to let people know, so I'm sticking to every Sunday at 3 p.m. Pacific, and then I'm just trying to do at least one extra live stream a week like this. This might be about an hour. So I have a show tonight. I'm a panelist on Doug Loves Movies in San Diego tonight at 8:00, which is cool. So. Let's see who else we've got here. Did I see Sassy Burry during his WAPO interview? That was so great. He goes, no, read the whole thing. I said, and the government doesn't give a shit about African Americans. It's so great. Really? Bank of America? He comes out. So great. Oh, I loved your rant on the live show. Thank you, Brian. Let's see if there's anyone I've missed here. Michael Williams, shave the knuckles for justice. Kim Iverson did a good breakdown on the border vote, and since the Justice Dems don't outward support or defend Tulsi as she does them, they are suspect. Appreciate everything you do. Shave those knuckles. Oh, good to know. Yeah, Kim, man, Kim's been doing. It's nuts what Kim's done. She started 7 months ago, and she has 142,000 subscribers. I mean, damn. I'm like, what have I done wrong? I've been doing this 2.5 years. I've got 23,000. I'm very happy for my subscribers, but wow, man. I was like, damn, Iverson. She's blowing it up quick. Yeah, Kim's doing very thorough work, and I appreciate that. I'll check that out. Yeah, I just am. I've been suspect of the Justice Dems for a while, so I look at some of their endorsements and go, okay, cool. That's a person that's decent. But then they do some other things. I'm just like, I don't know. The border vote thing just shows you how weak the Democratic Party is. They have control of Congress and they don't even use it. Remember when I said this? After the decision 2018, I said, and everyone was like, yay, blue wave took over Congress. I was like, well, we'll see. We'll see what the Democratic Party, what kind of blues are in there. You know? So thanks for bringing that up, Michael. Thanks for supporting the show. Balthazar, what's up, brother? A reminder that all four of them voted for her as speaker. Good point. They all knew she was going to do this, and they still voted for her as opposed to voting present. No, they have. I mean, they can. That's such a great point, Balthazar. AOC and Oman, they all voted for Pelosi. They all, whoa, she's battled, and this is you get what you deserve, man. They could have voted her out. They could have put a progressive in charge, and they didn't. Who knows what threats were made or promises or whatever. It's just like, I don't know when they're going to learn. I don't know when they're going to learn. Progressives within the party sometimes seem to be suckers. And they won't just get up and walk. They just say, well, you know, it's crazy. They all voted. It's a great point, man. Yeah, their bills never get to the Senate floor. Sam Dean, what's up? Shave your knuckles with justice, Sam. Crafting any Aussie jokes for the tour, mate? Want to test one or two out in the crowd here? Let's hear a drought joke. Moo moo. No, I don't have any drought jokes. What I will be doing is, I have some Australian material, but I will be like, as we start locking down the tour, I will start paying more attention. I'll do a little more research on the politics of Australia and see what jokes I can come up with, so that I'm doing, Australian political comedy when I'm over there, in addition to what's fucked about America. So yeah, I'm gonna write some shit, dude. There's gonna be some unique Aussie only down under jokes. So hope to see you there, my friend. Yeah, blue red means nothing. Thanks, random. I did not hear about the CBC going after AOC, Talib, Omar, and Presley. I did not hear about that. Boom! Eugene Westman, thank you for supporting the show. Shave your knuckles for justice. 99 people watching, 67 likes. Pound the like button. Get the likes up there, everybody. It helps. All that stuff helps. Do I have any criticisms of the Green Party, or do you pretty much agree with all their positions? I agree with the Green Party's positions wholeheartedly. I love what they stand for. My criticisms of the Green Party are just in some of the way they run some of their local chapters. And I say this because Ron and I. Now, the Green Party showed up when we were in Philly, and they were really cool, and we appreciate that. And I met Jill Stein, who I have crazy respect for, in Boston. She was so awesome and did that funny interview with me right there. And I voted for her, obviously. And I voted for Greens in the past. And I voted for Greens in the state of California. So it's not their platform. What I see sometimes, my criticism of the Green Party, is I think some people get involved. And Ron and I have reached out to a lot of Green Party offices in a lot of the cities of the Progressive Comedy Tour. And a lot of them didn't get back to us, or one guy said, he couldn't come that night because he has yoga class. And it's like, I just feel like some people join the Green Party just as like a token gesture. Like, well, I'm liberal, I'm not a Democrat, so I'm going to join the Greens. And then they don't try to really win. They're not out there trying to get candidates elected in some of the Green Party offices that I've interacted with. Some of you may have completely different experiences. You may like, Graham, I work at the Green Party in this town or this part of this region, and we're doing great work and we got all these people elected. And if that's the case, fantastic. But sometimes it feels like the Green Party, some of the members in it, it's just sort of this token gesture of just like, oh, I'm a Green. I know we can't win. We're not going to try to win. We're just this sort of protest party. And I really think the Green Party, especially since what happened in 2016 and the amount of votes that Jill Stein got and the hunger that this country has for a real third party, should be capitalizing on this opportunity more. Like Kenneth Mejia, I think there should have been more money and stuff put behind him to try to get him to win. Like the whole country should have, the whole Green Party across America should have got behind that guy. Now I don't know the particulars of how that was, the infrastructure's run, and maybe I'm just wrong, but that's just been my observation from the outside. The platform, what the party stands for, I'm down with it. But I think the Greens need to really be like, our goal should be, we're going to try to get as many Greens elected on a local level as we can and start getting Greens in the Senate and start getting Greens in Congress. And really just, that's our long-term goal, and build from the ground up, as opposed to just like going to, just sort of where this token gesture, like really try to win. Try to win. Look what AOC did. Try to win. That's my thought. That's my thought on that. So, let's see if there's anybody. Yeah, Cat B. The trolls like the Wednesday shows. Yeah, you like that. Snork Y2K, what's up, Mitch? I know that AOC has to do some party accommodation, but she comes through for progressive so much that I really appreciate her. Yeah. No, someone's really screaming about. Let me see if I didn't miss anybody else. Balthazar 228. Here's an Aussie joke. John Key. That's fucking hilarious, dude. That is hilarious. Eugene Westman again. Shave your knuckles for justice, brother. So do you think it can become a national party? Do you think a people's party would be better? Well, I really like Movement for a People's Party. I like Nick Brana, and I think the Movement for a People's Party, they've been very proactive on the progressive tour. They've sent people to almost all of our shows to set up and table and get people organized. And they seem to have a really strong organizational infrastructure, and they're actually trying to like become a national party. So I don't know. The Green Party should be, I don't know, maybe the Greens and the People's Party should merge together and combine their resources and really come together as like the true progressive option to, as Dilligan Radigan says, we need a terminal bypass of these two corrupt parties. Yeah, and I think to create a real third party that would resonate with a lot of Americans, it has to have a strong labor aspect to it, which I'm sure the Green Party does in terms of the Green New Deal, but then get serious, get serious. Go out and campaign. The Green Party should be doing what the DSA is doing. The DSA has registered more people in Texas opened up more chapters in Texas than any other state. The Green Party shouldn't just be going to, setting up where there's a bunch of liberal hippies at farmers markets and stuff. That's a little preaching to the choir. They should be going out into red country, red states, and say, we've got jobs for you. A Green New Deal actually puts you to work. That's what they should be doing, in my opinion. And I think Movement for a People's Party is really trying to do that as well. So that's my opinion on that. Yeah, you know, the putting the thing in all caps and writing it 500 times with that, you know, I'm not going to read all of them, but if you just keep writing the same thing over and over, Chris B, that B is really quickly going to be standing for fucking blocked. I hate that shit. Ask your question. I'll try to get to it. You really want to answer your question? Spend some money, you asshole. You know what? Fuck you. You're blocked, you cocksucker. I'm pissed off. Don't fucking put me in a shitty mood, you dick. They all also agreed to the Vanity Fair cover that helped boost Pelosi. I don't trust anything T12 enforces anymore. Yeah. Nancy was placed by Trump Republicans. That is probably so accurate, Kat. It's like, if you look at this as the ruling class running all of this, if you look at like Pelosi and Mitch McConnell, they're effective players. So that people go, oh, we don't like Mitch McConnell and we don't like Nancy Pelosi, but they're just effective tools to keep people thinking that there's actually two parties rather than two classes. Because if you look closely, Mitch McConnell and Nancy Pelosi serve the same people. You know, that's such a great point. So it's a great point that Kat brings up, that when she got reelected, Republicans like cheered. They cheered, you know. She's just more fake resistance. Yeah. Venezuelans have bottom-up socialism. I despise government, but if it's bottom-up, it's the people's. Top-down is the banksters and the oligarchs. Great point. AOC is being primaried by Republican Sherry Murray. That'll be interesting to see. My congresswoman ran like she was an AOC clone, but 1 minute into office, she turned into a Pelosi clone. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. How can AOC be primaried by a Republican? There are over a dozen state and federal Green Party legislators in Canada. This might be a blueprint for the Green Party in the US. Yeah, that's the point. I think the Green needs to get serious about getting people in office, being city council, state assembly members. I mean, needs to really just focus on getting his men. That's what I want to see, rather than just being this sort of, you know, resistance vote or whatever. Balthazar 228. Nancy Pelosi is one of the best recruitment tools and scapegoats for the GOP and vice versa for Trump. Each needs the other to maximize their message. Yeah, it's a great point. It's what many of you, Kat said this, and many of you are saying that she's just, it's just put in there. It's just, she's a great professional. It's like professional wrestling. She's just a great professional wrestling character. It's to say, it's really like, it's yeah, just those liberal. I mean, like the Republicans think that she's some crazy liberal, and it's like, no, she's a fucking oligarch. you know, it's just, oh, Mitch McConnell's so awful. I don't like Mitch McConnell at all, but I don't see how he's that much different from Nancy Pelosi. It's a great point, man. Sean Comets, what's up, Sean? I haven't seen you in a while. Thanks for showing up. Rand Paul blocks bill for 9/11 victims. What type of hell does he belong in? Also, enjoy your Comic-Con. Keep rocking, Graham. Thank you, Sean Comets. Yeah, it's great. For those of you who just tuned in, the reason I'm in a hotel room, I'm in San Diego for the San Diego Comic-Con. I do it every year. I'm doing Doug Benson's movie podcast tonight. We do it live at the American Comedy Company. And then tomorrow I'm on this Kung Fu movie panel, Rick Meyer's Kung Fu Superhero Extravaganza. I do it with Chris Mancini, who I do my film podcast, Comedy Film Nerds with. So it's if you're in San Diego, come to Comic-Con. I'll be in Hall 6A tomorrow night at 8 o'clock on the Kung Fu panel if you have a pass. So come by. Thanks, Sean. All right, where am I at here? Did I miss anybody? Make sure I did not miss anybody. Yeah. All the thank yous for getting rid of that troll. CureForCancer.co. Thanks for supporting the show. If you do live streaming on a more regular schedule and you do it outside and interview people, you will get more views. Ooh, all right. Maybe that's what I'll try to do more of is, if I can go to some like political events and live stream and stuff like that, I'll try to do that. Like I live stream at that Abolish ICE rally in Chicago that I was at on Saturday. I just was down there, saw the rally, and boom. Some of that, it depends on, is the cell phone signal good enough to get to live stream? Because this takes a lot of bandwidth to do video. 136 watching, 87 likes. Like it up. Thank you, CureForCancer.co. They all have channels on YouTube with just one person. Oh, that equals a troll. Oh. All right. Yeah. Well, easy, Herman. Be careful who you line up with, friend. Yeah, Brian Crosby, you can tweet me the political ad. That's fine. All right. Carl Knight. Shave the knuckles for justice, Carl. Lefties from the orbits of the Jimmy Dore Show and the Gray Zone Project should make a calendar for extra revenue. The guys could do something funny while the girls could do something sexy. There's money, Graham. Like a calendar? Like where I've got my shirt off or something? I don't know, Carl. I don't know if that's going to sell, buddy. I appreciate the support. I don't know, dude. I don't know. Yes, Rand Paul does need a good bitch slap. Read the Gray Zone Project on the DSA receiving money from the State Department and the NED. All right, that's an interesting thing. I'm interested to see that, because I joined the DSA in Los Angeles, and I was at this big DSA rally, and I was just like, it's all these young, mainly millennials, and just some older like lefties, but I'd say 80% of the crowd there was like millennials. And I was like, well, this is cool. And I said, but the fact that the DSA is growing, the FBI and the CIA and the NSA is aware of this, and they've got people here. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're trying to co-opt it or disrupt from within, because they've done that in the past. you know. So it is a thing to think about. Jana Kelton, did you hear about Twitter trying blocking replies to tweets? I'm not sure about the whole story, but it seems a little bit way to sell out a narrative, create more. Oh yeah, Twitter. Oh man, Twitter is just. I like Twitter in the sense that I can communicate with fans, and that's where I talk all my politics is Twitter. But again, all these big media companies and these tech giants and these unelected tech billionaires, they just make all these decisions about freedom of speech however they want to. Eugene Westman, boom! Thanks for supporting the show, Eugene. How about a Labor Party? I totally agree that. I remember talking about this with Dave Reinitz several times about what a third party really would look like. And if you went with a Labor Party, it would really be effective. And I think that's the thing that would unify people. A real Labor Party that was like $15 minimum wage, Medicare for all, Green New Deal, all that. I think a Labor Party is a great idea. Yeah, I've talked about that a lot. I think that's what we really need. So it's something to think about. It's a good idea. Do a kitten calendar, and nope, that's not code. Real kittens. Thanks. I'll get that. These are good calendar ideas. That's what I was hoping tonight was going to be, is figuring out what's the best calendar to make. Yeah, they're fantastic. Yeah. Yeah, there is no Labor Party in the U.S., and there hasn't been one for decades. So, yeah. Most people at Comic-Con are oblivious to the corporations own all the comics they like. Yeah, absolutely. Comic-Con's 50 years old, and it literally was a comic book convention 50 years ago. And this, when it started in 1969, throughout the whole 70s and even into the 80s, it was just people selling comic books in a convention hall. Now it's nuts. It's like these mega studios and corporations are rolling out their products. It's great. It's an insane scene. I'll try to roll some video from it. It's just nuts. It is just insane. Yeah, I'll roll video from the convention floor and put it on the site. It's insane. Sam Dean, shave the knuckles for justice. The other way down under, dude. Okay, now. You're on a life raft with another dude. He dies. You're weird about eating him because you're super vegan about things. Do you use some of the guy to catch a shark to eat, or just eat the dude? Is shark better than dude? I do not think I could ever eat another person. I think I would. Oh, God, what a horrible situation. I'd probably just let that guy go to sea and just try to fish with something else. I don't know. I don't think I could like cut up a dude and fish with him. I would just try to catch fish without having to cut up a dead dude. I'd just like bury him at sea, bam, whatever, namaste, and then just try to catch some fish. And that's what I would do. But I couldn't eat a dead dude. Good question, Sam. Really relevant. This and the naked lefty calendar. These are all really solid questions. Eugene Westman, shave the knuckles for justice. We got 150 watching, 100 likes. Right on. Let me drink some water out of my lightsaber. That's good Jedi water. Eugene Westman is asking me, what would you think of a progressive communities that try to create wealth outside of currency? What would you think of progressive communities that try to create wealth outside of currency? I'm trying to see if I understand the question. progressive communities that try to create wealth outside of currency. Meaning what? Like, are you talking about cryptocurrency? Or are you talking about just like material wealth like it used to be, like crops or products or livestock or something like that? Like sort of back to like an aggregate type culture? Is that what you mean? That's interesting. Yeah, I'm one of the things, I mean, going back, as I'm starting to learn a little more about cryptocurrency, and I don't know much about it at all. It's still much of a mystery, but I'm starting to understand it a little. Because a lot of the people in the cryptocurrency world are saying that fiat currencies are going to collapse. And when that does happen, then societies will revert back to what I think you're talking about, no matter what. Because then it's going to be barter. It's going to be like it used to be. I'll trade you these blankets. You give me that corn, I mean, I don't know. We do need a new party in the USA. My bad. Didn't mean to shout. Stupid sticky caps lock. No worries. What's up, Coop W? God, deleted. That can't be good. If you want to produce wealth outside of currency, then you need community projects and production ran and owned by that community, producing for needs and wants together. Okay, yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, cooperatives, communities producing stuff forever. Yeah, together, forever. Sorry. Hey, we know about the old blanket trick. No, not that one. Barter has hardly ever been used. Read Budson or Graeber. Oh. This gets back to the 1890s about relative value. Jeff Epstein, the good one, did another great introduction to MMT video on Facebook Live today, rehearsing for a presentation. Right on. Yeah, check out Jeff Epstein from Citizens Media TV. He's one of the good ones. One of the good Jeff Epsteins, not the creep one that needs to die in prison. And Mr. Super Chat about fishing with dead guys. All right, hold on. Brian McManus, shave your knuckles for justice. The dead dude you take fishing is your chum. Oh, A. Maris brings up a good point. You'd be eating the dude if the shark ate the dude. So see, I can't eat the dude. I can't eat the shark. Oh God. Dude chum. Eat the dude. He's already dead. Better than killing another being. Oh, Bethany, no. I can't just say I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm not eating the dude. I'm not eating the dude. Cut a slab of buttock and shout out. This one took a turn. This chat took a real turn. This chat took a turn. Took a turn. Thanks, Sam, for introducing the cannibal life raft scenario. Didn't know I was going to have to make that decision today on a Wednesday. Like All Day Media said, anarchy, which is freedom, not chaos, like the oligarchs want us to believe. Do as much economic activity outside of our rulers' currencies. Oh, I see. Right. Oh, that's a good point, Eugene. Yeah, no, well, that principle is again, anything we can do to circumvent the ruling class, I'm all for, which is why, the more I read about what blockchain is and cryptocurrency and it's when the creator of Rockfin explained that to me, I was like, oh, this makes sense. Any way we can circumvent it. I know, creating our own communities where we just create our own products and don't need the oligarchs bullshit, their credit cards and their banking and their everything else. I'm all for it. That's a great point. Let me tell you firsthand that barter economy won't work. Okay. All right. You got it. Max D, shave the knuckles for justice. Check out Guy McPherson, Nature Bats Last. Oh, all right. Balthazar 228, shave the knuckles for justice. Yeah, the $2 ones, they go by really quick. The $5 and up ones, they stay at the top of my page, so I see where they are. So I'm not deliberately skipping the $2 ones. I just don't. Sometimes they go by too quick, so I try to go back and get them. Balthazar 228, aren't all chicken businesses co-ops, coops? All right, dude. Wow. $2 for that pun? All right, man. That's pretty gnarly. Trying to miss any other? Did I miss any other? Balthazar 228. Here's another one. $2.99. Thank you. Labor needed their Corbyn. Greens need their Burn. That's an interesting point. Going back to that. That's an interesting point. Yeah, we talk about this a lot. A general strike, and going back to the circumventing. That's part of it. Is anything we can do. Again, a general strike, shutting things down, circumventing any of these tactics that really hurt their bottom line, because they don't. Noam Chomsky said this. Chris Hedges has said this. The ruling elites, you can't shame them. You can't say you're bad, it's immoral. They don't care. They do not have a soul or a conscience. They don't care. So any way to circumvent them, that's how we got to do it. So, hey, mayors, thank you for supporting the show. Iowa City sold out? No. Need a progressive comedy tour trailer. Love you. Oh, and all right. We'll try. Yes, that's a great idea. Ron and I will put that together before. That's not till. That's a. What is that? We'll get it before September for sure. Thank you. I hope I got all the $2 ones. I'm sorry if I missed them earlier. Let me make sure I scroll through. Labor Party, yeah. Eat the dude. No, I do not smoke weed. I'm completely sober. I don't smoke weed and I don't drink. So since we've established that the barter system historically has not worked quite well, it would be what we're talking about, the communities creating things in cooperation with each other versus just barter. All right. Here we go. Sam Dane, shave your knuckles for justice. I feel bad about Gal Gadot being Wonder Woman because I feel like I kind of willed it with my mind, just like many divorces. I did want that to happen. Ever done that? Wish yourself a hottie? I thought you could say wish yourself a divorce. Yes, I just try to manifest a smart, progressive hottie coming into my life. That's what I'm going to manifest. A really awesome activist, progressive hottie that won't eat me if I die in a raft. Thanks, Sam. Are we still trying to invade Venezuela? Yep, unfortunately, something we should not be doing. Darian for White House Press Secretary. Hey guys, so just some questions. The president's like super busy and, you know, people trying to do things. You know what I mean? So like press briefing, blessings, you guys. Thoughts and press socks. You guys are fantastic. Oh, you've got yourselves into a debate about Workers' Party and its effectiveness without me. Oh, okay. Well, cool. I hope you're having a fine debate. I like when you guys break out into your own stuff. Cureforcancer.co, shave your knuckles for justice. You should do a video walking people through how Rockfin works and make sure to spell it so people know it doesn't have a C in it. Yes, ROKFIN. Yeah, so the link rockfin.com is in my show notes on all the videos I do, but I'll do that. You know what? That's a great idea, Cure for Cancer. I'll just do a separate video on how Rockfin works, and maybe I'll even set up a Skype interview with one of the guys that created it, and they can help. So you can really hear it firsthand from them how to do that. But that's a great idea, Cure for Cancer. Thank you so much, man. That's a fantastic idea. 136 watching, 121 likes. Right on. This is a fun little bonus super chat bonus. Darianne would be an amazing press secretary. She's got Huckabee beat. I think she has a soft spot for Spicer, though. You know, Darianne, I can't keep up with who she's dating. There was Chad, then Todd, then Ryan, I think. I don't know who she's dating now. I just hope she's happy. Like, these guys aren't dick. They're not dicks. She doesn't date like assholes. They're just, you know, I think deep down she just wants love like we all do. I can't keep up with who Darian's dating. I'm trying. I just always say, well, Darian, hope they're good guys and they're nice to you and you deserve someone nice whenever I see her. But, you know, thoughts and prayers for Darianne's dating life. Shave your knuckles for Justice Carl Knight. Jimmy Dore shows video live at the Hall seem like a political rally. Do you ever worry that fans might get whipped up doing a frenzy at a show sometime? No, it's the thing that I that I love about the live Jimmy Dore shows is they are like political rallies. I mean, they are like, I've done a million live podcasts. Like tonight, I'm going to do Doug Loves Movies, which is a fun movie podcast. It's Doug Benson and a panelist of comedians, and we play movie trivia, and it's just we joke around, and you know, we play for audience members, and whoever gets the most points at the end of the show, the audience member gets a prize bag, and it's a lot of fun. But the Jimmy Dore things, people are like standing up, cheering. It is a political rally with jokes. I mean, that's what it is. And even sometimes the Progressive Comedy Tour shows have been like that a little bit, which I love. Like definitely New York City was that. People were fired up, man. And Boston was like that. But it was so I'm not worried because everyone there is like on the right side, you know, and people are like, you know, everyone there is on the same team. And if someone were to try to divide the house, it wouldn't go well for that person. So I think no, but yeah, the live Jimmy Dore shows are amazing because people just want the truth, and then we're making jokes about it, and we're getting people are getting fired up, and it's waking people up because most of every single one of those Jimmy Dore shows I've been to, and every single Progressive Comedy Tour show I've done, there's people that are fans of this show and Jimmy's show who bring a friend who hasn't woken up yet. And a lot of times that person like leaves that show, or they come up in the meet and greet and go, man, it happened. Just about every city that's happened. So it's a good thing. Cureforcancer.co. Thanks for supporting the show. We need a constitutional amendment abolishing property tax. I'm down with that. I found Comedy Over Suicide podcast because of Comedy Film Nerds, real solid content for people battling depression. Oh yeah, that's cool. Coffee Over Suicide. They've supported Comedy Film Nerds. And if you're battling depression or any sort of mental health thing, that Coffee Over Suicide is a really good show. And then Mental Illness Happy Hour. You might not know this, but Paul Gilmartin, who does Representative Richard Martin, you've seen him do that Republican character on Jimmy Dore show, who's really funny. He's actually comedian Paul Gilmartin, and he has an excellent podcast that deals with mental health issues and called Mental Illness Happy Hour. And I interviewed him. It's in the documentary Earbuds that I did. If you ever watch Earbuds. Yeah, so those two podcasts are great to talk about. Thanks for bringing that up. That's really cool. Those are good resources for people because, like, especially Mental Illness Happy Hour, Paul's like, I'm not a professional. I'm a comedian. He always says, I'm a waiting room that doesn't suck and lets people know you're not alone. So thanks for bringing that up. Aline Bivacqui, thank you. Shave the Knuckles for Justice. Another good mental health podcast called The Hilarious World of Depression. Yeah. Yeah, if you're battling with mental illness or depression or anything like that, go to these podcasts because they're really good resources. And most of them too, they talk about, they have people on the show what's helped and dealt with them. Look, I've dealt with PTSD from the war zones, from doing comedy in the war zones and getting shot at and rocket attacks and stuff. I mean, that's just being a comedian. And then the last 2 years, as I talked about in my Me Too video, 2 years ago when the memories came forward of being abused as a kid, I started going to a therapist, a trauma therapist that did somatic and EMDR. So those have been very helpful. And because I think especially too with depression and stuff like that, or trauma, is you feel very alone and very isolated and you feel like you're the only one going through it. So sometimes just going from that to seeking professional help sometimes is too big of a jump for people initially. So it's good to start with some podcasts and then you can move into getting professional help because you need to get professional help if you're battling with something like that. Yeah, the wounds and scars are invisible, and PTSD does suck. Never thought a comic would get PTSD. I remember seeing it for the first time when a member of my squad became non-functional after a triggering event. Yeah, man. It's Erico. So if you watch my documentary, Afghanistan, I was on a helicopter that came under fire. Now I don't know what it's like to be in actual combat. I have no idea, and only a combat vet, like sounds like such as yourself, would know. But that was terrifying, being on a Black Hawk that came under fire. I remember being in Iraq and a rocket like went over our head, and they were like incoming, and we had to jump into a bunker. And I couldn't hear military helicopters. I'd be out on the beach surfing, and military helicopters fly up and down the coast, and it would make my heart. It was intense, man. Yeah, it was intense. I hope that shed some light. But here's the thing: you can get PTSD from a car accident, from getting mugged. PTSD doesn't have to just be like a gnarly firefight in combat. It's just how the brain reacts to trauma, post-traumatic stress disorder. If you grew up in an abusive home, anything like that. Sam Dean, Shave the Knuckles for Justice. Are we so worn down by the reality of warmongering Trump that we focus our rage on black mermaids and black female 007s? Is this a symptom? Yeah, it's so crazy. Well, that's the thing. All jokes aside, America especially is so numb to war. We should be outraged about Yemen. We should be outraged about wanting to go to war with Iran and these bullshit sanctions and trying to start a war with Venezuela because we want their oil. We should be outraged about that, but we've been so desensitized to actual war that America has all this displaced anger about all these stupid things. You know, Kyle Kaepernick takes a knee and people burn their tickets and their jerseys, and it's just like Colin Kaepernick. I always call him Kyle. Colin Kaepernick takes a knee, and it's like, no, we should be outraged that we spend $4 billion a day in all these wars. It's just ridiculous. You know, it's since I think, what was it? Maybe I got that statistic wrong, but I think since we spent trillions of dollars in Afghanistan, and it's some $4 billion a day or a week or something like that. I'm sorry, that's a misquote on that statistic, but you know what I mean. We should be outraged about all the money we're spending on all these wars that could be going for our infrastructure. America could be this paradise. Clean, drinkable water. Everybody's got free college tuition. Everyone's got free health care. Everyone's taken care of. But no, we have this crumbling infrastructure, and then we get mad about all these stupid crap. Somebody stole Tom Brady's jersey or whatever. It's insane. It's a huge bummer. Kat, thank you for posting this. PTSD is horrific. Get help if you need it. Some SAMHSA's National Helpline. I don't know what that stands for, but there's a number that Kat just put up here, 1-800-662-HELP. 1-800-662-HELP if anybody's dealing with PTSD. Check that out. Thank you, Kat, for posting that. My VA psych doctor says I have PTSD, but not from combat. Yeah, it could happen I know people who grew up in really abusive homes. So the number again, 1-800-662-HELP. Thank you, Kat, for putting that up here. I took a job at a factory with 2 amputations a week. I fixed the problem over a few months, but I still feel that I have PTSD collecting body parts and taking them to the hospital. Oh, shit. That's gnarly. Mitch, I'm sorry you went through that. Oh, God. Yeah, going back to the war budget thing, C. Blaine brings up, and $775 a day to keep a kid in a cage. This country has its priorities out of whack. Absolutely. PTSD sucks, really sucks. Why drinking ends me up in jail, why I stay away from it. Psychedelics help so long as you don't go overdoing it. I can tell you how much EMDR has helped. EMDR has absolutely helped me, and it's helped vets with PTSD and stuff like that. And it is pretty gnarly. Okay. So the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, that was the number that Kat put up there. That's what that acronym stood for. I'll read the number again. Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services, 1-800-662-HELP. So this brings up an interesting, a curious one brought up this point. That's why I don't want to totally shit on the cops. Imagine if you are not a shitty cop and trying to do the right thing, you are under stress and pressure while the country demonizes you all. That's an excellent point, and I've talked about this with a friend of mine who was a cop. One of the reasons I think that has created this environment, I'm not trying to downplay that there isn't the racism aspect to it, but one of the things is these cops, most of them, if they were beat cops, have seen some stuff. A lot of them have PTSD and they overreact. And when you get triggered, you go into fight or flight and you can overreact to stuff. Now imagine you have a badge or a gun. And I think a part of one of the things when we need to reevaluate how we train cops, part of it is once they're on the job, they need to get serious. They're not getting mental health help. They're not getting mental health care. What they're having, what a cop has to go through is, and then they're just told to stuff it down and man up. And then, well, here's a badge and a gun, go out. And then somebody looks threatening and he's boom. I mean, it's just like, we need to deal with that. We need to deal with all these cops dealing with all this stress and pressure, not to mention there's a lot of things we need to do in police reform, but that's a big part of it. I'm glad you brought that up. But yeah, going back, ER doctors, I mean, you know, my friend was a detective again. He worked in internet crimes, child pornography. He goes, Graham, I had to look at stuff. You can't even believe it. And it lends itself to a high burnout rate. It lends itself to substance abuse, to all that stuff. Coming home, checking out, domestic violence. It lends itself to all that stuff. You know, so we're not, it's another thing America doesn't want to deal with that it needs to. But yeah, look up EMDR. I forget what it stands for, but what EMDR basically does is it sort of repatterns your brain. So what happens when you have trauma? It stays, and correct me if I'm wrong, if there's any like neurosurgeons on this or neurologists. This is me hearing a bunch of very complicated medical information and then trying to just process it through my nightclub comedian brain. But so when you have a traumatic event happen, it stays in the front part of your brain and your brain keeps, so I'll give you an example. So if you look at this, look at my two pinkies, right? So this pinky here was slammed in a door when I was a kid, right? And I had to get stitches around like that. Now, when I look at this, I don't have a physiological reaction to this. I go, yeah, as a kid, it got slammed in the door. It doesn't, when trauma comes up, like for me, when the repressed trauma of being abused as a kid came up, my body would physically react as though it was happening now, even though it happened over 4 decades ago. So what happens when you go through trauma, especially if you're a child and your brain isn't developed, but this can still happen to a fully developed adult brain, your brain seals off the traumatic event and kind of hides it. And then it can get triggered, as I believe Eric O talked about. And it can, and so then when it comes out, you can have an overreaction. And I'm reading Brian Crosby, my PTSD has made me fear being touched. And because of the abuse in school, some things make me violent. Yeah, that I totally understand, Brian. And if you haven't gotten help, please get it. Use that phone number that Catch has put out there, or look for, so what EMDR does is it repatterns your brain to take the memory and put it in the back part of your brain. So it's just like you remember it like this, like, oh yeah, I slammed my pinky. And that was what my therapist said to me 2 years ago when we first started it. It was July of 2017. He goes, Graham, the goal here is to get you to tell the story of what happened to you when you were a kid as though it's like the pinky. Yeah, I slammed it in the door. So replaying it or events that seem similar to it can raise your, and with PTSD, you go from 0 to 100 like that. You're just like, and I feel that, and I totally understand, Brian, you know, I went through the two things of being abused as a kid. And then my girlfriend of 2.5 years was violent with me. And you know, because she was a woman, I didn't retaliate. I just took the violence. And it triggered me as like when I was a kid, I couldn't defend myself. So the two events got kind of merged together because as a grown man, if I defend myself against a woman being violent, I could go to jail. If a man's violent with me, I can just fight him back and it's okay. And that feeling like I had rage some of it I realized was towards myself because I didn't defend myself. I was judging myself for not defending myself when I was 3 years old, and my therapist helped me go, that's not logical. But PTSD is not logical. You can't just logically think your way out of it. I totally, and I would get like so wound up, and so like when this comedy club, when she violated the restraining order a year ago and this comedy club protected her, I really felt like I understand the like anger and wanting to be like violent, and I've studied martial arts. I'm no cage fighter, but I I could do some damage if I really wanted to. And so, but I've learned all of these breathing techniques and all this stuff like that to help sort of calm me down, because you have a physiological reaction. My body reacts as though there's an actual physical threat happening now, even when there isn't. So like, let's say if there's a car swerving at you, your adrenaline pumps, you try to dodge out of the way. If there's like a crazy person coming at you with a knife or something like that, your body reacts. Heart rate, adrenaline, focus, all that stuff happens. So then your body is doing that when there isn't a legitimate threat, which is very taxing on your body physically. So again, it's why I would recommend, and why EMDR then basically takes the traumatic memories and puts them back in the brain and just stacks them in a category of just memories. And maybe you'll feel a little like, I don't really like talking about it. It's a little uncomfortable, but it won't make you like go up to 100. So I really hope that helps, Brian. It's the fight or flight reflex triggering. Yeah. Yeah. Like panic attacks, but worse, anything can trigger. And I appreciate, I appreciate all of you relating your stories. All the people working through trauma and mental health issues really, I had a shower at a friend's about 2 months back. My friend is older than me, simply because he was in the bathroom sorting it out before my shower. It was all I could do to not start crying. 37 stood on the landing. Dan, you're shaking like a leaf. Yeah, it can bring up serious. I'm sorry you went through that, Amy. I really am. I've had that. I've had that so much where I would just start crying. I mean, the last 2 years have been a lot, like crying in yoga classes, not being able to leave would get so afraid I just couldn't leave my apartment. I'm like this big, strong guy that has a black belt and studies multiple martial arts. And sometimes the fear would overcome me. And I remember like having my bike helmet on and was going to go on a bike ride. And all of a sudden it just overcame me and I couldn't leave my apartment and I started crying. And I have people that I can call and support and stuff like that. So that's the thing I would highly recommend to anybody out there is get a support system, maybe an actual support group for trauma survivors. Those are really helpful. EMDR is really helpful. That phone number that Kat put up there is very helpful. Don't go through it alone. Do not go through it alone. Get help, get professional help, and talk to people that have gone through it. Because friends of mine that I love and adore and I think are wonderful who haven't gone through it, they can't relate, and it's hard to talk to them. And it's okay. They're not bad. They're not shitty. They're not bad friends. They're not insensitive. They just don't know. It's like, I don't have kids of my own. So people who have children, it's hard for me to relate to them. I'm not an insensitive dick. I just don't know what it's like to have kids. So that's why I would highly recommend, so there's ways to look for help. Don't be afraid to check out multiple support groups. Some of them aren't flash. Well-adjusted people are unwitting obstacles. Yeah, absolutely. Because they'll say stuff that is not intentionally trying to be insensitive. They can't relate. So they think it's just like, oh, Graham, you went through a bad breakup. It's like, no, it was triggering to childhood trauma. And the woman who abused me was friends with my mom, so I wasn't protected by someone. So when my girlfriend, who was this loving, sweet woman for 2.5 years, literally held me in her arms when I started crying, when the memories first came forward, then 6 weeks later started doing drugs and became violent, it was like such a betrayal. It triggers up a lot. So yeah, and it helped me deal with I have really, so talking to people that have been through that can understand. Yeah, and Rhombus is talking about anger as a problem. Yeah, I've had to really monitor that, and it's been good. And that's one of the reasons. Yeah, Amy Abal, snap out of it, cheer up. You should be more optimistic. The voices of society. Yeah, they just don't understand. They just don't. This isn't just some like, oh, I went through a tough thing, and it's snap out of it. It's like it is in your trauma is in your body on a cellular level, and so you have to. Army of all. Sorry, I keep calling you Amy. I'm sorry. Sorry, Army of all. I'm sorry. So yeah, and that's why it's more than just. That's why like and Paul Gilmartin from Mental Illness Happy Hour is a very dear friend of mine. And when I told him I was going through this, he said, you got to get help immediately because it'll be the death of you. Without us, I'd be dead or in jail. No two ways about it. So don't be afraid to ask for help. Semper Fi. Yeah. Yeah, the family wants you to brush it off. Yeah. I was just starting to work with trauma doctors on adverse event exposures leading to PTSD responses. This conversation is very enlightening. Absolutely. Yeah. So it's why it's why I personally don't drink or do drugs because it would be not good for me personally. So well, guys, I gotta go. I gotta go do a show. I hate to like abruptly end this really intense conversation about PTSD, but I really think it's wonderful that we're having this and we're seeing everybody support each other and Amy's army of all, and Brian and everyone that's gone through stuff. And I appreciate all of you sharing your stories here. It's really powerful. I think it's part of the other resources I would say too are here's a good book, the Tao of Fully Feeling Tao, spelled Tao, which is you got to go through the anger and the resentment of those that abused you to get to because that's the other thing too. Society says, oh, just forgive and forget, get over it. And you got to go through the anger and resentment of how you were abused first. So that book's really good. And then this book is Victims No Longer. That is just specifically for male survivors of sexual abuse. So if that's anybody here, I would highly recommend that book. Also in that book is a chapter for partners of male survivors. If there's anyone here who is in a relationship with a man who's a male survivor of childhood sexual trauma, and you're like, I don't know how to deal with this. I don't know what to do. There's stuff in there. Trailer video. Oh, thanks, Curious One. See you. Good night from Kenai, Alaska. Well, cat beast, it gets like 22 hours of sun up there or something, right? So, and there's other people reading some book, The Alphabet of the Heart, practiced by Dr. James Dottie. The short video is also really helpful for my PTSD. So there's resources out there, guys. Cureforcancer.co, serial killer is the best term for politicians rather than warmonger because the media has already conditioned us to see serial killers as horrible. Good point, Cure for Cancer. Good point. You guys are great. I hope I didn't miss anybody's. Just in time, Shave the Knuckle for Justice. How were the zany shows on Sunday? Did you connect with any progressive Chicago comedians while you were in town? The zany shows in Chicago were fantastic. I did not connect with any progressive comics there. Excuse me, but we had a wonderful time. I saw some friends there. Jimmy had some family there. It was really, really cool. So I had a wonderful time. Thank you. All right, y'all. I got to roll. Let me bring up and thank everybody because I got a show at 8 o'clock that I gotta check out. Gotta get to the show, but this is a really cool discussion. I appreciate everybody helping the resources or giving resources that can help people. So let me go to live stream. And again, July 27th, Ron Placone and I are going to Vegas. That's next week. So check that out. And then, of course, September 4th, we're going to Oklahoma. No, shit, totally wrong. We're going to Omaha, Nebraska, September 4th. We're going to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, September 5th. Madison, Wisconsin, September 6th. Minneapolis, September 7th. And Iowa City, September 8th. So come out to the shows. Let's thank everybody. Really great questions and stuff today. Bob Swanick, thanks, Bob. Donald Cunningham, boom. Matt Ides, we'll see you in Minneapolis. Balthazar 228, right on. Big, glad the shirt fixed. Rick Gangi, see you in Russia. All Day Media, thank you. Sam Dean, we'll see you down under in November. Balthazar 228. Michael Williams again. Mike Williams, Balthazar 228 again. Sam Dean again. Eugene Westman. Great questions about this third party. Balthazar 228. Eugene Westman again. Balthazar 228 again. Sean Comets. Check out his artwork. Cureforcancer.co. A. Mares. We'll make a trailer for Iowa. We'll see you there. Carl Knight. Right on. Eugene Westman. Boom. Sam Dean. Thanks for the Cannibal Life Raft question. Really good. Balthazar 228, Eugene Westman again, Brian McManus, pow, Balthazar 228, boom. Max D, hello, Eugene Westman, boom. Sam Dean again, cureforcancer.co, pow. Carl Knight, thank you. Cureforcancer.co again, boom. Aline Bavakwi, thank you. Sam Dean, pow. Cureforcancer.co again, boom. Kate Slattery, oh, yes, the Chicago book. I just got it today, Kate. Thank you. You're so sweet. I can't wait to read it. I mean, I'm going to be frustrated when I read it, but it's the book's called Chicago is Not Broke, and it just shows how corrupt Chicago is. It makes plenty of money, but it still claims it's broke. Thank you, Kate, for sending me that. Just in time, pow, Cure for Cancer, CEO, boom. Thank you. Serial killer is the best term for politicians rather than warmonger because the media has already conditioned them to see the cures is horrible. Thank you so much. You guys were great. And if there's anyone out there having a tough time, please, please, please ask for help. You're not alone. There's a lot of resources out there. And the biggest act of courage is to ask for help. That's why it's called the courage to change. So you're not a weirdo or loser because you have to ask for help. That's the most courageous thing you could ever do, is get help and to face trauma and deal with it head on and deal with mental illness, whatever you're dealing with. Deal with it head on. All right? So you're all political vigilantes. You all made Gotham great, and I thank you so much. And I will see you Sunday, 3 p.m. Pacific. Boom. Boom, boom, pow. Shave the knuckles for justice and make Gotham great again.